Hey, what's up, guys? We are at Genesis Gaming right after our first post ROTA Locals, and who do we have here with us?
What's up? I am Dana. I just took first basically because of a draw, but the Chimera Azamina.
You're running Chimera Azamina. Very nice, very nice. Before we get into the deck, do you have any shoutouts before we get into that?
Yeah, sure. So feel free, go check out my channel, which is Danasaur2121. I post Lorcana and Yu-Gi-Oh content. Right now, my top 6 deck profile from the Rochester Regional, which I was playing Tenpai, is over there. If you watched any of Chris's streams, I was playing that last week. I was playing that here. Deck's awesome. Definitely go take a look at that. But
For sure.
kind of moving on.
Link down below. And how many in the main deck for this Azamina Chimera
This
build?
is going to be a 40-15-15.
All right, sounds good. Let's see it.
All right. So
See the goo.
We'll start off 1 Diabell Star and 1 Diabells.
Why one Diabell Star when you're running the Azamina? Is this just enough?
I think it's just enough. You're running 3 Wanteds in the deck. You really only need the 1. You could up it to 2. I would never play it at 3 in this build. Spellcaster is really not anything that goes into your extra deck. At least Dark Spellcaster doesn't. So you don't really want to see it too often. You really want to search it out. But that's pretty much it. I saw it plenty. And then, of course, Diabell's 1. I have considered bringing this up to 2 because if you're running Sinful Spoils now, it doesn't hurt to just open it. Because you can just special summon it from hand. You can even use it as material from hand if you don't end up needing it. But yeah, so those 2. Pretty self-explanatory cards. 1 Hollowed Azamina, 3 Deceptions. I got lucky. I pulled all 3 with my boxes that I opened.
How did you like these cards?
They're amazing. Obviously, Chimera is the soul of the deck, but this really does do some really cool stuff. You're definitely able to just, you throw like an Omni Negate on the board. Sometimes you just grab it to, pop something, get rid of something on their field that's going to be pesky for your later turn stuff. I did some kind of cool play around, but I guess that was more with the wanted than I guess we can just throw wanted right on top of this as it's all part of the Sinful Spoils stuff. I was able to play around an anti-spell today by doing a cool workaround with all of these. Draw phase wanted, chain 2, anti-spell, chain 3, Chimera fusion, and then be able to bring this back onto the field in a roundabout way, and then use Diabell Star to set the Deception, and then use Diabell's target itself, and then target the anti-spell, which is a really cool play that I found. It was a very interesting way to play around it, and it worked really well. That was it, and that was opening 2 hand traps too in that hand. So, well, one of those hand traps was Fulo, so not really a hand trap. I think it drew me 2 cards or something like that.
Do you think this is the next, the future for Chimera? Do you think this is better than pure Chimera, or are you still, because of the Azamina stuff?
I'm not 100% sure. I obviously have a lot to work around. I've been playing Chimera for, it's probably my longest deck other than maybe Goaty. I played Goaty for how many months straight here, But Chimera is probably one of my favorite decks of all time, so I just, I kind of know it inside out. But the Fiendsmith stuff felt really good in the deck. It felt ever so slightly bricky. This didn't feel bricky at all, and if I were to play the Fiend, I would try the Fiendsmith stuff in this deck too. But it's just I don't really want to play more than 40 cards, especially in a 2-card starter and deck. So, but this does allow you to have a couple 1-card starters rather than everything being 2. So it's super nice. And with the Azamina stuff, you can actually play around your normal summon with the level 8. I think it's Regina.
We'll get to that when
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So So that's all for the sinful spoils aspect of the deck. It really isn't that much. So we're going to move right on to the Chimera engine. We got 3 Fusion, 3 Codal, 2 Mirror Sword Knight, 2 Baphomet, 3 Gazelles. This is a pretty standard engine. Some people have been cutting Gazelle down to 2. I think that's just wrong. And especially,
You need it for the grind game.
no, I think it's because now that the deck can play around the normal summon with Regina, so you basically discard Sword Knight from your opening hand, or the way that you get Sword Knight. So you have 5 possibilities of getting that. So you discard that with Diabellstar, and then use Regina to bring back your Sword Knight. Therefore, basically completely playing around the normal summon. And if you're going first, it doesn't really matter if you lock yourself. So you lock yourself into fusions with Baphomet off the Sword Knight, add the Gazelle and the Chimera fusion, normal summon Gazelle, get your second Chimera fusion. So essentially you have your 2 Chimera fusions turn 1, and you can still set 1, which is super, super nice for this deck. Other than that, there's not much more that needs to be said about the Chimera stuff. It's been around for a while. Other than I want my secrets. We'll move on to what I kind of deem the generic cards in this, which is Master Tau, 3 Nightmare Apprentice. Some people would say this is part of the Chimera engine. I don't really think so, not anymore, because it interacts with all of your engines. Same thing with Master Tau. 1 poly, 3 bricks. Well, I will call this in the hand traps, I guess, but so yeah, let's talk about Master Tau. This card has become not as useful with the new stuff. However, it's still just as good. I find myself not needing it as often, which is nice because it was like a crutch card beforehand. Like if this didn't go off, you were just like, oh well, my end board is poop.
Yeah.
Nightmare Apprentice is just a generically incredible card. Lets you search out everything. Well, any illusion, but any illusion in the deck is full combo essentially. So except for Diabells, but if you're able to add this or open this, you have full combo in your hand. 1 Angel Statue Azarun, more on that later. 1 poly, because of these bricks. These I'm gonna take these upstairs and burn them. These are the worst cards in the deck by far. You would be better off running like 3 Gilgarth, like 100%. Like, we shouldn't even talk about these cards because
What cards would you replace them for possibly in the future?
no, literally anything. Like I would literally have rathered Gilgarth because
Hand
they're
traps,
just so
board
pretty.
breakers, more engines.
Something stupid like that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could play, if you're doing like the Fiendsmith stuff in the deck, you could change these out for like the hero package, which I don't think is 100% necessary in the Fiendsmith side.
You don't
of this
like the
either,
hero?
but
You don't like the hero package in Azamina, I guess?
it's just another 2-card starter. Doesn't do much. I'm not playing Moon, so there's no real reason for it.
Fair enough.
These just did absolutely nothing for me and actually hindered me most of the night. So taking these out for sure. To be honest, you could probably just run Ghost Ogres. Everybody's going to be running Azamina. The Ghost Ogre just absolutely just turns their entire engine into nothing.
You have the Deception, right?
Yeah, you just hit Deception. You don't need to do anything else.
All right, let's see what else you got.
So we're going to hand traps. We got
Nice hand trap.
1 Called by the Grave. I mean, it does end up being a hand trap most of the time. 2 Fulos. I only own 2. 3 Ash, 3 Imperm. That's it. Pretty simple. A lot of Chimera players I've been seeing lately has been really cutting down on this package. I think that's 100% wrong. These main board is interesting. I think a lot of people will question this. This card is incredible in your main board, almost no matter what, especially with the Azamina stuff, because it is just if you open it, oh, there's your monster to send from hand. If you...
From Diabellstar, yeah.
From, Diabellstar, or the engine that follows. So, let's move right on to extra deck. We got 1 Chimera, 2 Baphomet, and 1 bigger Chimera. This is pretty standard. You could run a second one of these if you wanted to. It did come up tonight wanting to have a second one. Not a huge deal. This one, make it with 5 materials and win the game because that's just what it
Yeah.
is. This is the soul of the deck, in my opinion, right now. Is been one of your 3 types. So
He puts it all together.
yeah, he really does. He allows you to do everything for your end board. So the Azamina stuff, you got Eris, Sylvia. I'm just calling this one Moo. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And then Regina.
So how do you like... Okay, let's talk about... Because these are the ones that people typically run, and then these are the guys you are running specifically. So if you want to talk about the generic ones first and then go into the Chimera ones.
Yeah, so obviously these are the ones that people want. I'm not running any light spellcasters, so these are what you want to summon off of your wanted package or your sinful spoils package here.
And this is just your Omni Negate, and this searches any sinful.
Omni Negate searches a sinful. This is like the for this deck specifically. This is like the worst one.
Yeah.
This is more of the holy cow. I got to get out of a
Gives you a
situation.
+1 if you open Diabell Star, or it gives you the draw if you open Diabell Star. So that's why you run it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's really all it's there for. Sylvia's the Omni Negate. There's nothing else to say about it. It's an Omni Negate. It doesn't destroy, though. That's a huge deal.
Yeah. How do you like these guys? Because they are non-standard, and since you can kind of make them with your illusion cards, right? Yeah.
These are 100% like Chimera cards in this deck. Like, you can still make this guy, obviously, which is great. This one's a bit harder to make off of the Sinful Spoil stuff, but like, say you open 2 Deception. If you open 2 Deception, you make this off of everything because it reborns an illusion monster, and that's just full combo right there. Especially if something gets like ashed or something.
This was a nice board breaker.
Yeah, this one's huge. It actually won me a game. And I made this natively off of Chimera Fusion because it just is 1 fiend and 1 illusion, which is the easiest thing to make in the deck, in my opinion. And this one's just a level 6 or higher fiend, which, I mean, Baphomet is, and putting a Baphomet in your graveyard and reborning like Diabells or something is ridiculous. So, 100% these.
You like them? Yeah, you would keep running them.
Yeah, this would be the first one I would cut.
Okay.
But I don't think either of them are going to get cut. I think something else is probably getting cut later. Guardian Chimera, Aerial Eater, and we've got Magnum the Reliever.
Would you still run Magnum without the Patchwork Engine or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's crazy. It was a little bit better in the Melodious build because the Melodious monsters special summoned from the extra deck could count for his material. But this card is still just absolutely bonkers. Guardian Chimera is like, it's a self-explanatory, just I win the game now card. This could probably get cut right now because I'm not running Fiendsmith. I'm cutting this garbage. And sorry to anybody who likes this stuff. I have never once had a good experience with it. And I've tried it so many times. But he was in there mainly because of, this is a Dark Fiend, and I can do stuff with Dark Fiends. But this will probably be the actual card that gets cut here. Not to say anything about it being bad or anything. This card's incredible, and it's also a level 6 Fiend to go into Regina. But, yeah. So those are fairly generic ones there. For Synchros, we have a 1 of Chaos Angel in here. This card also pretty much won me. It's not like it won me the game, but it solidified it for sure.
You make Land Dark Chaos Angel very easily in this deck. So.
Super easily, yeah. This card could probably get cut from this build specifically. I never had an opportunity to even use it. It may come up.
It's more in the pure build, yeah.
It really is. It wants some other stuff. I'm not a big fan of it. It is a beast though. It can unbrick because it's a beast. So if you have like 2 fiends, you can unbrick with that. Silhouette and SP.
Do you like those generics?
Yeah, SP is just little Chaos Angel, and Silhouette is hilarious in my opinion. I mean,
is the Azurin worth in this deck? I know that's a little non-standard, I guess.
I absolutely think so. Silhouette is an illusion monster, so you can really make use of it. What's up?
Do you have KMCs?
No, these are actually Imperium Duelists. They're the Minotaur sleeves.
Yeah, these are nice.
They're actually super nice. I didn't expect them
They're
to
like
be...
KMCs, so that's why I like them, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to be as nice as they are. Yeah, Silohat is definitely... I was telling somebody earlier, like, they're like, is Silohat good? And I'm like, probably not in the deck that you're trying to run it in, but like, say in Sprite, you can use this to make Gigantic Sprite. In this deck, it's an illusion monster, and you can use it to even make your Azamina cards if you need to. So as long as you're able to abuse beyond the can't be used as link material, you are...
And you mean hard making the Azamina cards because you're the only deck that can actually hard make the Azamina cards with like Chimera Fusion or Poly.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, even just...
Well, I'll make that
made of
sure for
poly.
people who are going to comment. What do you mean make the Azamina Fusion? So.
Oh, yeah. Just actually fusion some of them, like, you know. So we'll move right on to the sideboard here.
Yeah, let's see it quick.
Cards that didn't matter. Droll. But I have to keep them in. Card that super mattered. Barrier Statue. This went in against almost everybody. Except for when I was playing, well, you. So. Nib. That went in against 2 people tonight. Lightning Storm went in against almost every single person, and then here is the anti-gimmick puppet.
The contingency.
Yeah.
It's also great against the Fiendsmith.
It's huge against...
so it's just, like, fine,
it's just so good right now. This is more specific towards Sanctifier as a thing. I would actually probably do that. Make this a 3rd droplet and just go 2 Nib. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all my sideboards are. I make my main decks very, very... I mean, sometimes going into Game 3, I go back to just my actual main deck. Maybe just this as something in, like side out a single Imperm or something. But yeah, I make sure that my main decks are very, very competitive against every deck in the format. And that's where I truly think not running Fiendsmith in here and keeping it a 40-card deck is going to shine.
Yeah, especially with the extra X space. And I think that actually the Azamina cards add a lot. If you guys go to the stream, she was using them going first and going second in this deck. I think it's one of the best Azamina decks. So I do want to thank you for coming on the channel, showing off your very unique and cool deck profile. And once again, I want to implore everybody to go check out Dana's channel. Go give her a subscribe. She does great Yu-Gi-Oh! And Lorcana content, and she will be doing probably more on this Chimera build. And, you know, hey, if this video gets 200 likes, we'll invite her back on to show some combos maybe. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
sounds good. We'll be seeing you guys later. Bye.
Catch you later.